Yes people, today we're making sticky kung pao chicken. Start with the sliced chicken boobies and a whisked egg. In another bowl, add corn flour with salt and garlic powder. Give it a mix and get that chicken boobie in the mixture. Coat it well. Then we deep fry. To make that sauce, get garlic, sriracha, hoisin, white sugar, bitter soy sauce, mix it up, and the chicken, mate. Give it a final mix, and we're ready to serve up with some rice. What more do you want, bro? Spicy, savory, and sweet.
Fry your meat. Add in your Dr. Pepper. Whole can. Then add in your au jus seasoning.
No, he's good.
Then your ranch seasoning. You add in your butter, about a half a stick of butter. Add in your pepperoncinis with or without the sauce. I do not use the sauce. Plug her in, turn her on high, about 50 minutes, and then you're going to let it rest. Okay.
Let's make OMG chicken. Set your oven to 425. Line the bottom of a casserole dish with chicken. These are tenders, that's why they look a little bit mangled, but you can use whatever pieces of chicken you want. Then I use probably, I don't know, half a cup of mayonnaise. It really depends on how many chicken breasts I'm doing or how many pieces of chicken. Then probably half a cup of Parmesan cheese as well. Then combine these two. Once it's combined, you want to spread it over your chicken. Once it is evenly spread, take Italian style breadcrumbs and top it with that lightly. Put that in the oven and let it bake. Bake until the chicken's heated through and serve with your favorite sides.
Easy, spicy, and
I didn't miss an actual hamburger eating this, and I don't think you will either. This recipe makes 2 servings, so make sure you have someone to share it with or just save it for later. In a food processor or a high-speed blender, add all of these ingredients and blend until just combined. One tip is to freeze the mixture for 30 minutes, then shape and grill in olive oil and assemble. I used fresh potato buns, special sauce, the burger, greens, tomatoes, and cabbage slaw. And of course, lastly, dive in. Have a great day, guys.
Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this simple Italian classic spaghetti aglio olio e peperoncino, or spaghetti with garlic olive oil. Give it one really good mix and enjoy.
This needs no introduction. I already know my ABGs, ABBs have been waiting for this one. Popcorn chicken from the boba shop. Now we're going to get the chicken thighs, of course, debone and deskin. To debone, make an X on the bone, hug the bone with the cut so you can scrape away, cut down. Make sure you don't cut yourself like me. And then you're going to cut the chicken into little half-inch pieces into a bowl, seasoning soy sauce, salt, pepper, Chinese fried rice, garlic, egg white, sesame oil, cornstarch. Eat a little bit of cereal if you get hungry like me. I always get hungry when I cook. You're going to get the Thai basil, pick it all off into a bowl, and then you're going to get the sweet potato cornstarch because it's nice and grainy. Coat it onto the chicken after it's marinated for however much time you got. Half-inch of oil. You're going to get that chicken skin, render out that fat. You're going to get crispy chicken skin, and you're going to get a little bit of that extra chiyu flavor. Chiyu is basically just the chicken fat rendered out, not Chihu, you know what I'm saying. Fry it for like 2.5 minutes each side. Last 10 seconds, add in that basil. You're gonna add a little bit of that spice on top. I got this little Japanese thing, spicy mayo.
We made this amazing steak last night and I really wanted a nice dipping sauce. So I threw in a handful of cilantro, 4 big cloves of garlic and 1 serrano, 2 scoops of mayonnaise, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of water, and some salt. Blend this all together until it's a nice thicker consistency. Dip any steak or chicken into this and I promise you will love it. Enjoy!
So I want to share what I made for dinner tonight. It's a Thai stir-fry dish called holy basil. It's not authentic because I don't have holy basil right now, but it's really similar. So I'm using a hot metal pan and I added some oil. Then I'm using ground turkey because that's what I have. Usually I'd use pork for this dish. And make sure that you dry your meat thoroughly before adding it to the pan. Then when it's just a little pink, I'm adding oyster sauce, soy sauce, and dark soy sauce. So you want to use more oyster sauce than you do for the soy sauce and the dark soy sauce. And it's always a good idea to add a little bit at a time and taste it as you go. Just remember, it's easier to add more than it is to take away. Then I'm adding just a little sprinkle of sugar. Now turn off the heat and make sure that it's a bit cooled down. Basil is a delicate herb, so you want to just cook this with a residual heat from the pan. I wouldn't call this authentic since I didn't have holy basil, but it tastes great and it only took me 15 minutes to make.
Let's make some riz, a classic Arab vermicelli rice dish. Start by soaking rice in water for at least an hour. Once the water runs clear, strain it. Heat up some ghee or semna in a pot and add broken vermicelli. Toast it until it's dark brown and then add the rice to it and toast for 2 more minutes. Add chicken broth or water and season with salt and pepper. Taste the broth now and make sure it's perfectly salted. Once this comes to a boil on medium heat, lower the heat all the way, cover with a lid and cook for 15 more minutes. Fluff it up with a fork once it's ready and enjoy, or as we say, saha hana.
This is my mom's recipe for roasted cabbage. If you want more spices, please add whatever you want. So come on in, you know you're welcome. I cut off the bottom, cut it into 2 halves. I cut the cabbage into slices, like this. Off several sheets of aluminum foil and brush them with vegetable oil. Place a piece of cabbage on the oiled foil, baste the top of the cabbage with oil. Sprinkle with salt. Seriously, sprinkle with salt and pepper and crushed red pepper. It's not coming out. Wrap it up in the foil. Place on a baking sheet and start with your next piece. Spices are very simple, so you're welcome to add anything else that you might like, but we find these to be just perfect. To 375. Put these in the oven for 45 minutes to an hour. The smaller pieces are done, and I'm going to stick the larger ones back in for another 15 minutes. Your finished product should be a bit brown.
One of my absolute favorite dishes from Olive Garden is their stuffed chicken marsala, so I had to recreate a low-carb, keto-friendly version. I pounded out a couple chicken breasts and sliced a hole in the middle of them and stuffed that with some mozzarella cheese. I closed it up with a couple toothpicks and seasoned them with a little bit of avocado oil and a all-purpose garlic seasoning. And then I gave them a super good sear on each side and some really hot ghee, and then threw them in the oven at 400 degrees to finish cooking. While those were in the oven, I started on my sauce, which was basically just a bunch of caramelized mushrooms, and then I added some butter, about half a stick, a little bit of minced garlic, a cup of heavy cream, a little bit of Dijon mustard, a couple handfuls of Parmesan, salt, pepper, and a little bit of red wine vinegar. Just taste it before you throw it on the chicken, make sure it's good. And then when my chicken was done, I topped it over some of my garlic cauli mash and threw the sauce over the top, and this was so good. You can see how juicy it stayed.
Making cabbage steaks. Cut your cabbage steaks. Take your cabbage steaks and put them on a foil-lined baking dish. Let's make our sauce. 2 tablespoons of butter. Olive oil. Put your butter in the microwave and melt it. 2 tablespoons of garlic. Salt, pepper, garlic blend. Some paprika. Cayenne pepper. Mix. Take your sauce and top your cabbage steaks. Sprinkle on a little bit more paprika. Sprinkle on some Parmesan Reggiano. We'll be adding a little more of this later. Preheat oven to 350. We're going to cook these for 45 minutes. Top with a little more Parmesan cheese. And enjoy.
You've probably had blueberry pancakes, but I bet you haven't had them like this. These taste like a blueberry muffin, and can we appreciate the fluff and also how many I got on 1 fork? Thank you. Thank you very much. So take 100 grams of frozen blueberries, microwave them for 1 minute till they look like this, then add 1 egg and 1 egg white, 60 grams of oats, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon, a pinch of salt, and 1 tablespoon maple syrup. Then blend that all together, cook for about 2 minutes on each side, and that's it. Stack them up and let me know what type of pancake you want.
This is one of my favorite dishes because of the fact that it's so nutrient dense. It's definitely a labor of love, but here's how I make it. First, I spent about 45 minutes chopping 4 different kinds of grains, transfer to a pan and cook it till the water evaporates. Add oil and cook till it gets to this color. In a new pot, I add avocado oil, onions, and cook them down for about 1 minute. Add beef cubes. Add the spices you see on the screen. Salt and pepper to taste. Add oil as needed. Next, I added a bouillon cube and jalapenos. Cook it for about 10 minutes. Then I added back the cooked greens and red kidney beans. Next, add 11 ladlefuls of hot water. The juice of 2 whole limes. Bring to a boil and simmer for about 1 hour. I like to serve mine with part basmati rice and part quinoa. This adds more fiber. Let me know if you guys want a recipe. Enjoy!
All good pasta starts with good olive oil. Get your olive oil into a skillet over medium heat. Throw in half of a white onion, some salt, saute for 3 to 5 minutes before adding in 6 cloves of minced garlic, saute for 2 minutes more. Add in your white wine and deglaze that pan because we're making a drunken sauce. Season with salt, garlic, and pepper. I'm using my rub, which has all 3. Reserve some pasta water, then get a half a stick of butter into that sauce mixture. Season some more. Continually taste and season your food, people. Flavors everything. Add in that pasta water, the juice of 1 lemon, and go ahead and get your pasta in the pan like a pro. Some fresh basil, the zest of 1/2 of a lemon. Sexy, simple summer pasta. Get it plated up. I like to garnish with king crab. You do what you have and works for you. Some fresh basil, a little bit of extra sauce, and ooh, is sexy eating time. Bang.
Look, if you love tacos, watch this video till the end. Now, let's go! We're just gonna salt this whole chunk of pork and Sergeant Gilbert all over. Now we're gonna rub it down with this incredible marinade I made by toasting up some spices, adding some chipotle peppers, some avocado oil. Time to get messy. This is my favorite part. You guys think it's weird. It is weird. Let's get that beauty into a pot. Now we're just gonna juice a bunch of citrus in there. I got some oranges, I got some limes, I got some lemons, and finally just some water. Tuck a little onion in there, some garlic, pop a lid on there, straight into a 300-degree oven. Now cool it down a bit and shred it with just a little bit of the juice. 2 local corn tortillas, some thinly sliced cabbage with lime and salt, avocado, our amazing pork. Now to finish, pickled red onions. Just slice your red onion, put it into a jar, pour boiling water over it, give it a little stir, discard that hot water, and then top it off with your pickling liquid. And there you have it, my friends. Oh yeah! You know I love you, Anna!
Hey guys, let's make mini Japanese cheesecake. First, you need to separate 3 eggs. Melt milk, butter, cream cheese in a bowl over boiling water. Turn off the heat, then add the egg yolks and sift the flour. Mix until it's very smooth. Beat 3 egg whites and gradually add sugar. Beat until soft peak. Combine 2 mixtures very well and pour it into baking molds. We're using water bath baking method and bake for an hour. It's very creamy but not heavy. Enjoy!
Let's make a super inauthentic but supremely delicious Bolognese. In a 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1 onion, 2 carrots, 2 celery stalks, 2 garlic cloves, some thyme, and crushed red pepper. Throw in a pound of beef, cook it into crumbles. We are going to deglaze with 1 cup of red wine and then throw in 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. We're going to season this up with some salt and 3 bay leaves, and then we are going to let this simmer low and slow over medium-low heat for about an hour. Finish it up with a 1/4 cup of cream when it's done cooking. For the pasta, I am using fusilli col buco. Super long, super delicious. Get it nice and incorporated, finishing it up with a 1/2 cup of grated parm, a 1/4 cup of torn basil. You gotta make sure it sounds like good pasta, and it's time to eat.
Good morning. I'm gonna teach you how to make breakfast tacos. Follow me. Okay, this will feed 6 to 8, 6 eggs, guac, pico de gallo, bacon or sausage, whatever you want to use, cheese, and your tortillas. And if you need the recipes for the guac or the pico de gallo, just comment below. Scramble up some eggs and toss some cheese on that. Fry your bacon or your sausage. Now we're gonna warm up our tortillas. Okay, time to build. So tortilla, eggs, bacon, cheese, guacamole, pico de gallo.
What's up, guys? Yesterday, one of my followers said they're hungry for some macaroni and cheese. My God, that sounds delicious. Let's get at it. You're gonna need 1 box, 16-ounce package of elbow macaroni cooked al dente. I'm just gonna get a pat of butter with a paper towel behind it, and I'm gonna grease up really quick a 13 by 9-inch baking tray. I put a pan on medium heat, and I put 1 stick of butter. I'm gonna let it melt down real quick. Let's get a 1/2 cup of flour. 2 cups of low-fat milk. 15 ounces of half and half. Add 4 cups of cheddar into the baking tray. It's a Gruyere. Pan off the stove, I'm gonna pour it over the cheese. Add the pasta in and then gently stir it all together. 1/2 tablespoon of some kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. What we do now is just throw her in the oven for 25 to 35 minutes. We're done. Pull it out of the oven. Let's give it a try. Macaroni and cheese. Yeah, get into it, baby.
This homemade salad dressing is absurdly good. It will make you like any vegetable, even if you didn't like it already. It only takes 5 minutes to make in a food processor or blender, but you can also grate the garlic and shallot that I'm using here and then whisk by hand. You really don't have to be exact with the measurements, but I'm using about an inch of extra virgin olive oil, and this is my favorite vinegar. I'm also going to mix it with balsamic. Apple cider vinegar is great too, but you want roughly half vinegar, half oil, equal parts. A small handful of salt is a must, and I like to add a little bit of red pepper flakes and black pepper. A dash of maple syrup for sweetness and balance, and then a scoop of Dijon mustard. If you're skeptical about the mustard, I promise you, just try it. You don't really taste it, but it keeps the dressing from separating. I actually added more because I like the flavor a lot, but you don't have to add an extra scoop. This is all about tasting and correcting. Sometimes I don't have shallot, sometimes I don't have garlic. Sometimes I taste it and it's a little too sour, so I add a little more maple syrup. Just taste it.
I had no idea how many people were gonna like these oranginis, so I'm opening them up and they have my mom's Bolognese sauce, and she got the recipe from my nonna, and some peas and fresh mozzarella. I'm gonna do a video tomorrow with the full recipe showing you exactly how to make them.
Hey guys, today we're trying out a new recipe called French baked eggs. So to begin, you're going to preheat your oven to 425 and then go ahead and spray each cup with some oil. And then you're going to take your eggs and crack one into each cup according to how many you want. And then we're simply going to season these up with some salt and pepper. So go ahead and feel free to use whatever seasonings you love the best. Then we're going to take 2 teaspoons of heavy whipping cream and put it into each cup, followed by 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese. Now, we're going to bake these in the 425-degree oven, and I'm going in for 10 minutes and hoping that they turn out soft. You can go for less if you want them super runny, and you can go for longer if you want them completely hard, but these turned out perfect for me, kind of semi-soft.